Before this video begins, let it be known that this is for a general audience. This can be enjoyed by children and adults alike. Children under the age of 13 can enjoy this video for the Thomas and Friends brand itself, and teens and adults can enjoy this video for its production value and nostalgia.
Dear reader, as the Fat Controller's engines live on to the 21st century, they experience all sorts of trends and societal changes over the decades. This is the story of how Gordon aimed to accept what the people of yesteryear rejected. The Pride of Expression, written by Duck Out of Luck and adapted for audio by Christopher O'Shea. A special month was coming to the island of Sodor. Flags of many colours were being put up on the stations, and the engines were wondering what all the build-up was for. Their questions would soon be answered when the Fat Controller came up to them in the sheds. "Engines," he said, "you might be wondering what all the flags are for." "I haven't seen this many rainbows since the 70s, Gordon replied. 2 days from now, the Fat Controller continued, is Pride Month. Percy was confused. "I thought it was old June." The Fat Controller laughed. "Oh, Pride Month is a special month, made to celebrate people of the homosexual, bisexual, and transgender community, or LGBT for short. And in June, we are going to hold special trains and events with Sodrian representatives of each sexual orientation to show off different means of self-expression, so be ready for an extra busy month." And he walked away. All engines were excited. All but Gordon. "Why must we celebrate something so minor like this? Why a whole month of this?" "Because it's not minor," said Edward. "Celebrating LGBT is a big deal. It represents an era where people can express themselves more." Gordon just scoffed. "I still find it pointless," he thought. The next day, Gordon saw James wearing brightly coloured flags on his smoke box and lamp irons. "James," he said, "what are those flags? They look ridiculous." "They are pride flags," James said. "The Fat Controller chose me to pull the first train." "Why you?" asked Gordon. "I don't know, something about flamboyant energy, I don't know." "I'm glad I wasn't chosen. Going down the line with those flags is like having a shunt me sign. It's beneath me." And with that, Gordon puffed away, leaving behind a speechless James. The big engine was getting to the platform to pull his first local train when he saw the Fat Controller talking to a well-dressed looking person. "Ah, Gordon," he said, "you're just in time. We were just talking about you." Gordon looked at the individual. "And who is this?" he asked. "I am Jordan Volley, the non-binary representative for this year's Pride Month event." "Oh," replied Gordon. "Nice to meet you, sir." "Oh, I'm not a sir," they said. "Non-binary means I don't confide in any gender." Gordon was surprised. "Oh, my apologies, distinguished individual." Jordan was a little confused, but flattered anyway. "We were talking about how you were going to look with the flags." Gordon tried his best to keep his composure. "Oh, that's nice, sir." "It's best if we continue this conversation inside," said the Fat Controller. "I wouldn't want to ruin any surprises." And they walked away. As Gordon was taking his train, he was grumbling about the man. "People can just change and bend their genders at will," exclaimed Gordon. "What has the world come to?" I don't get it either, said his driver, but it's something that we shouldn't interfere with.
Society has thrived on the consistency of the human race.
Now there are so many genders and pronouns to learn.
His crew just sighed and continued on. At the big station the next day, Gordon met two men with a rainbow badge on them. He could hear them talking. This is wonderful news. After our marriage, we're being invited to the NWR's Pride Month celebration, said one. I know, continued the other. I hear James will be taking the first train.
Marriage?
Spluttered Gordon, getting attention from the couple and his crew.
You two couldn't have been married. Marriage is a union between a man and a woman.
The people were shocked and offended. His driver was furious. Gordon, she shouted, you should know better than to say that in front of a gay couple. She then saw Bear coming in with a stopping goods train to Teignmouth. Gordon's driver, still enraged, took action. Bear, she called, the fat controller has a change of plan. Gordon is to take your train, and you are to take the local. Both Gordon and Bear were surprised. Bear just went along with it, while Gordon protested.
Absolutely not! I am not doing this!
Well, too bad, said his driver, as Gordon was backing down onto the trucks. You are doing this whether you like it or not. And soon, Bear and Gordon went away with each other's trains, with Gordon grumbling all the way. At Teignmouth Sheds, the fat controller came to see Gordon's driver.
Gordon,
he said sternly,
what you said could have damaged the railway's reputation.
Gordon looked at his buffers.
And Carol,
he continued,
come with me to my office. You have some explaining to do.
Yes, sir, she said meekly, and they walked away, leaving Gordon in the sheds. Edward was nearby and had heard about the whole incident. Gordon? He asked. Are you all right?
No, replied the big engine. It's all this new terminology and these so-called genders and sexualities people come up with. The world's gone mad. Why can't everyone be happy with what they are given?
Edward looked up at his friend, who was in a complete state of angry confusion. He then remembered something his driver told him a few years ago. Gordon, Edward said, do you remember your time with the Express? What was it like? Gordon was confused.
What does that have to do with this?
More than you think, the old engine replied. Gordon sighed and answered.
It was a job that came with a lot of prestige. I had to keep up my title of the railway's poster engine. Everyone expected me to have class and dignity. So I had to act classy and dignified.
Good, said Edward. Now, how did you feel when Pip and Emma started taking over the Express?
I felt free, the big engine replied. Like a massive weight was let off my buffers. No longer having a title and a reputation to keep up made me more relaxed and happy.
Edward smiled. That's how that couple felt, Gordon. Gordon perked up.
Really?
Yes. For a long time, society expects them to be one thing and live up to it. So many people feel unhappy with what others expect from them and want to break away from that. Pride Month is about acceptance and embracing being yourself, free from any societal expectations or titles to keep up.
Oh, said Gordon solemnly. I didn't know.
And you wanted to take away their happiness because it didn't fit in with your concept of normality? For shame, Gordon. The big engine didn't speak for the rest of the day. He had a lot to think about, and by looking at his expression, Edward knew it. The next day was the first day of Pride Month, and all the engines were at the big station. The fat controller made a speech.
Ladies, gentlemen, engines and others, thank you all for attending this auspicious occasion. We are here to celebrate diversity, self-expression, and embracing a new generation. But before we can begin the festivities, our number 4 has something to say.
Gordon puffed forward.
My outburst yesterday was unprompted of me. I was too clouded by my outdated societal views, and I am dreadfully sorry.
The couple walked to him.
Samuel and Joseph Joblin, he continued, from the bottom of my firebox, I deeply apologize.
The couple smiled, and Joseph spoke up. It's all right, Gordon. We forgive you. The crowd soon erupted in cheers as the celebrations began. The festivities went without a hitch. James pulled the first trains with Samuel and Joseph on board, and many other special trains were pulled through June. The engines and people enjoyed the festivities, but none more so than Gordon. He may not fully understand LGBTs, but if being so made people happy, he was happy too, and that's all that matters to him.
This has been a steam-powered Sideboard production. The story was written by Duck Out of Luck, narrated and edited by Christopher O'Shea, and the sound effects were made by I Love Trains 323, TheGermanofSodor, and G.W Shunter, and the music was made by Donald Shaw, NWR06 Music, Matt Steiner, Leich Waten, and Johnny Pearson. The characters were owned by Wilbert and Christopher Audrey.
I'm an LGBT ally and this is a safe space.